In the headlines, gunmen abduct immigration officer in Benue and demand 20 million naira ransom. World Bank and federal government disagree on budget 2025 assumptions. NNPCL say oil drilling to resume in northern Nigeria. And on the foreign scene, UK employment hits highest since 2021. Hello and welcome to Trust TV's news update. I am Hawa Adamikiawa. Gunmen suspected to be kidnappers have abducted an officer of the Nigeria Immigration Service, NIS, Simon Akbo, from his residence in Makurdi, Benue State. According to a family member, the incident occurred around 7:15 p.m. on Sunday while Akbo was outside his home with two neighbors. The assailants, who stormed the area opposite NKST Church, Gwan, behind Modern Market, fired several shots into the air to scare away residents before seizing the officer at gunpoint. Akbo recently redeployed to the Benue State Command from Kwara State in February, was taken to an unknown location. Community youth and local vigilantes launched an overnight search, but the kidnappers escaped. The kidnappers have contacted the family, demanding a ransom of 20 million naira. As of press time, officials from the Nigeria Immigration Service and the Benue State Police Command had not responded to the inquiries. Emmanuel Aula, Trust TV's reporter from Benue, to give us updates on the kidnapping. Hello, good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Yes, good afternoon. With respect to the kidnapping, what more have we learnt about this attack, and what are the authorities saying so far?
Yes, we got to understand about the kidnap issue this morning, and according to the information we got, an immigration officer was kidnapped yesterday evening in his neighborhood after work, and as of this morning, the adulterers has already made contact with the family, demanding for ransom to the tune of 20 million naira. But I dashed to the immigration headquarters in Benue State here, located in Makurdi. And when I got to the office, I didn't meet the information officer for details on the matter, but I met the protocol officer, and what he told me was that the information officer is away as part of the effort. So they have gotten the news. The news has gotten to them about the adoption of one of their officers, but they have not made any official statement because they are making more findings before going public on giving details of what actually happened. But they said they are aware of the kidnap incident, but no official statement yet. But before I did that, I was at the police headquarters in Benue State here, the police command headquarters, where I spoke with the police public relations officer, CSP Sewesanene, who also said that he got wind of that, but no official statement yet. And on the side of the immigration protocol, the protocol officer, he said he was going to get back to me before the end of today when the official statement is being made. So as at this moment, this is where we are. I tried to get to the family too, but because of the timing for this conversation we are having now, I was not able to get to any of the family members to get any details. But as at this moment, this is where we are, but we are hoping for details to be given so that will inform the public, or probably inform you of what is going to happen. So this is where we are now.
All right, thank you very much for the update, and hopefully we'll be reaching out to you for more information on this issue later on. Have a good day.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right. Moving on, the World Bank has described Nigeria's 2025 federal budget as overly ambitious, warning that the federal government may be forced to turn to the Central Bank of Nigeria's Ways and Means facility to finance likely revenue shortfalls. The bank gave this warning on Monday during the public presentation of its latest Nigeria Development Update report titled Building Momentum for Inclusive Growth in Abuja. President Bola Tinubu signed the 2025 Appropriation Act into law, approving a record budget of 54.99 trillion naira, the highest in Nigeria's history. The budget was raised from the initial proposal of 49.7 trillion naira submitted to the National Assembly. The fiscal plan makes provisions for 13.64 trillion naira in recurrent expenditure, 23.96 trillion naira for capital projects, 14.32 trillion naira for debt servicing, and 3.65 trillion naira for statutory transfers, while projecting a deficit of 13.08 trillion naira to be financed through domestic and external borrowing. Lead economist for Nigeria, Mr. Alex Sienat, said that despite strong revenue gains recorded in 2024, Nigeria's 2025 budget assumptions remain optimistic and may prove difficult to meet. In another story, more than 2 years after former President Muhammadu Buhari launched crude oil drilling project on the border of Bauchi and Gombe states, the group chief executive of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Bayo Ojulari, has said that the energy firm would resume oil drilling in the northern part of the country. Ojulari, who stated this in an interview on Monday, urged residents of the region to exercise patience, and he assumed that the drilling project in Kulmani at the boundary of Bauchi and Gombe states, when completed, will positively impact Nigerians. In 2019, the National Oil Company announced the discovery of hydrocarbon deposits in the Kulmani River on the upper Benue Trau Gongola Basin in the northeastern part of the country. In 2022, the government commenced oil drilling in the area in commercial quantities, the first in the region after several crude oil explorations in the upper Benue Trau, saying it would attract foreign investment and generate employment for the people. Former Senate President and Chairman of the People's Democratic Party's Board of Trustees, Adolphus Owabara, has inducted former Governor Samuel Ortom of Benue State, Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi of Enugu State, and 37 others in the party's Board of Trustees. During the inauguration on Monday in Abuja, Owabara called on the new members to help steer the PDP toward renewed success and significance, asserting that the party remains much alive. Others inaugurated into the Board of Trustees to serve for 3 years include former Kano State Governor Ibrahim Shekarau, former National Vice Chairman of the party in the Southwest, Eddie Olafeso, former Edo State Governor Lucky Benidion, and former Niger State Governor Babangida Aliyu. Other members inaugurated were former Minister of Information Labaran Maku, former Minister of National Planning Muhammad Dagash, and former Ogun State governorship candidate Oladipupo Adebutu, among others. The inauguration is intended to revitalize the board as it faces growing internal issues. The PDP Board of Trustees chairman stated that the event marks not just a celebration of fresh starts, but also a reaffirmation of their united dedication to the values and principles that define the party.
We will rely on your advices, we rely on your guidance. We want to assure you of every necessary support that the party needs to provide for the smooth running of the BOT office. We will also expect a commensurate response from the BOT in supporting us to refocus and redirect the affairs of the party to what it's supposed to be.
See that is passing here. You are living witness to all the governors that we had issues with returning to be members of BOT. It speaks volume. That's the sign of the moment. We are going to return to greater heights, and you can trust.
Still in politics, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Nyesom Wike, has insisted the People's Democratic Party, PDP, cannot give its presidential ticket to the North ahead of the 2027 election. Wike stated this during a media chat on Monday, and his comments appeared to be directed to PDP's presidential candidate in the 2023 election, Atiku Abubakar.
When you stand president to where? If they can't stand president to the North, no, the point their selfishness can kill a system. Take for example, if Mr. President runs, for example, and wins, for example, 2027, by 2031, APC will send their presidential ticket to where? To the North. PDP will do what then? Then you come back again and say, no, since APC have gone to the North, let's keep it in the North. I mean, what kind of smartness is that? Oh, yeah, so many discussions were had, private and public. We are waiting to see what was agreed will be implemented. We are waiting. If it's not implemented, I will not agree. If it's not implemented, I will not agree.
Tension is rising within the ruling All Progressives Congress APC in Lagos State following the controversial primary elections held on Saturday, May 10, 2025. Party members and delegates from Etiosa local government and Olorunda local council development area under Badagry stormed the APC secretariat in Ikeja on Monday, protesting what they called electoral injustice. The report.
Chanting solidarity songs and carrying placards, the protesters accused party leaders of manipulating the primaries in favor of preferred candidates. They demanded transparency, accountability, and immediate restoration of what they described as a stolen mandate. The aggrieved members proceeded to submit their petition as stipulated by party electoral guidelines. However, due to the tense atmosphere, the committee in charge of election disputes was unable to sit. Protesters were told to leave their petition with assurances that the matter would be addressed. But speaking with Trust TV, a party agent expressed doubts about the leadership's commitment to restoring the crisis properly.
We went in. We were told that if the aspirants want to stand as agents, they should all come in. If it is agents he wants to use, they should come. But it's only one agent, which they did. But at the end of the day, we now discover that other local governments are coming in with the chairman and agents. So in our own case, it is not certain. They are just using only the delegates, and we went there to cast our vote. We just went out like that, waiting for results to come out.
We have equal rights. During the election, we know what we do. We are the people that mobilize people to come and vote. During the last election in Ethiopia, I know what happened to me. I fractured my finger. It took me about 6 months. They tore my cloth. And at the end of the day, you tell me that, okay, this time around, I don't have any right. Someone will be in his house. He will now maybe ask his daughter or son to come from abroad. The next thing you hear is that they will put his name. And at the end of the day, then where's the justice? Where's the equity? Where's the fairness?
Similarly, delegates from Olorunda LCDA in Badagry echoed these concerns. They claimed their preferred candidate, who reportedly secured 18 out of 25 delegate votes, was sidelined in favor of an unknown figure imposed by higher authorities. Alhaji Belewu, one of the protesting delegates, condemned the selection of the candidates who only recently defeated to the APC.
They are using our vote to count Badagry. We have the most voters. So I was so surprised. This man, we don't know him. Let me just tell the elders to bring the LGA book. If they can find his name there. It doesn't go to ward meeting. It doesn't come to LGA meeting. We are so surprised. It just came back after the tinubu election from PDP. And they are telling us it's wrong. What we want now is we want our mandate. We want Ade Balogun.
Out of 25, 18
voting delegates vote for one person and someone else is now announced as the winner. No be juju be that. No be juju be that. That is unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. And I want you to know that we, the party members of Olorunda, we will never come out again to vote, even in 2027, if this mandate is not given back to the rightful owner.
As the protest simmers, these aggrieved APC members are demanding justice, fairness, and true inclusion in the party's decision-making process. Whether their demonstration will compel party leaders to review the disputed primary remains uncertain.
This is the news update on Trust TV, coming up after the break. The Federal Executive Council adopts strategy to lower cost of pharmaceuticals. More news when we return. Do stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is News Update on Trust TV. Let's look at our top stories again. Gunmen abduct immigration officer in Benue and demand 20 million naira ransom. World Bank and federal government disagree on budget 2025 assumptions. Moving on to more stories, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Abbas Tajuddin, has urged the executive arm of government to act swiftly on laws and resolutions passed by the National Assembly. The call came at the inaugural National Policy Dialogue on the legislative agenda held in Abuja. The report.
At a high-level gathering in the capital, top lawmakers, policy experts and members of the executive arm came together to assess the impact of legislative interventions on national development. Speaker Tajuddin noted that the House has conducted extensive oversight on executive actions, particularly around economic reforms and national security, but warned that without implementation, even the most robust legislation falls flat.
In the past 2 years, the House has engaged in robust oversight of the executive branch, holding ministries, departments, and agencies accountable to foster accountability and transparency in governance.
Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu informed the gathering that over 1,059 bills have been introduced since the 10th Assembly began, a reflection of what he calls an ambitious and responsive legislative agenda.
The House has considered over 1,059 bills spanning every facet of national life, from constitutional amendments to sector-specific reforms in education, in health, and security, as well as the economy.
Chairman of the House Committee on Monitoring and Evaluation, Cyril Hart Godwin, stressed the need for stakeholder participation in shaping and tracking the House's 8-point legislative agenda,
as it heralds a new era of purposeful alignment with global parliamentary best practices benchmarked by the key indicators of strategic focus, measurable impact, and parliamentary audit.
Also speaking, Chairman of the Conference of State Legislatures, Adebo Ogundoyin, highlighted security concerns, calling for smarter, intelligence-driven approaches, including the recruitment of unemployed graduates into national security agencies.
As legislators, we must enact laws and support proactive, intelligence-driven security measures, strengthen the capacity of our security agencies, and promote community-based policing.
Labour Minister Mohammed Megeri Dingeri called on the House to expedite action on key labour bills, arguing that Nigerian workers stand to benefit directly from legislative support.
These bills include Labour Standard Bill, Collective Labour Relations Bill, Occupational Safety and Health Bill, Labour Institutions Bill, the Nigerian Social Insurance Trust Fund Act 2010 to align with the Employers' Compensation Act.
The event also drew goodwill messages from key national figures and civil society leaders, including former Speaker Yakubu Dogara and PLOC Executive Director Clement Wanko, all echoing a common theme: effective governance begins with accountability and collaboration.
But the challenge has always been the implementation. Whether you're talking about allocation of resources, and then intervention from some other arms of government.
The opportunity of presenting to citizens what the People's House has done is so very important for all of us. The National Policy Dialogue on Legislative Agenda is the first time this is happening. And I think it sets a benchmark, but also sets future direction for citizens to ask the question.
The dialogue marks a significant moment for Nigeria's democratic process, with both lawmakers and citizens watching to see if words will indeed translate into action.
In another story, the Federal Executive Council on Monday adopted a procurement strategy that would lower the cost of drugs and give Nigerians wider access to essential quality medicines. Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare Ali Pate revealed this to newsmen at the State House in Abuja after a meeting of the council. King Diamutu reports.
Countries, including the United States, are placing executive orders to reduce the cost of pharmaceuticals to enable their citizens get access to quality healthcare. The Nigerian government has been eloquent about its intentions to apply different methods to reduce the cost, in recognition. The Nigerian government has been eloquent in its intentions to apply different methods to reduce the cost of medicines, in recognition of the fact that Nigerians are hurting because of the rising cost of pharmaceuticals. The presidential initiative to unlock the healthcare value chain, an executive order to back it, signed by President Bola Tinubu in June 2024, provides incentives for local manufacturing by taking away tax for the import of raw materials. But this new initiative, Christian Medipool, takes off in a completely different direction.
Today, Federal Executive Council approved Medipool. It's a group purchasing organization for competitive pricing and to be a supplier of essential medicine and healthcare products across Nigeria that are funded through the federal government's intervention, the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund, but also potentially outside that through federal tertiary hospitals, so that as a buyer, we can negotiate lower prices.
Meanwhile, the cabinet also approved the award of the 2.3 billion naira contract for the procurement and installation of a cardiac categorization machine by the Usman Danfodio University Teaching Hospital in Sokoto.
It will save lives, but also contribute towards reversing outbound medical tourism, because Nigerians can be able to access services which hitherto they were not able to. And that is an important step, one more among several other interventions that federal government has been supporting to strengthen the federal teaching hospitals, to train and to provide quality service as part of the transformation of our health sector under the leadership of His Excellency Mr. President.
Also on Wednesday, the cabinet approved a group life insurance scheme, taking out a life policy on each public servant. Monday's approval endorsed the appointment of 17 insurance underwriters for the group life insurance cover for the year 2025 and 2026.
And this means that if the unfortunate incident of death occurs, the deceased public servant's next of kin stands to have a benefit to help the family, cushion the family at that time of loss.
The group life insurance scheme covers key government officials, including the president and vice president. The scheme also covers the prime military agencies, as well as extra ministerial departments and agencies. From State House, Abuja, Kehinde Amudu, Trust TV News.
All right, moving on to business. The Naira recorded its highest appreciation against the dollar at the official foreign exchange market on Monday, the highest since April 30th, 2025. Central Bank of Nigeria's exchange data showed that the Naira strengthened to 1,600.44 Naira on Monday from 1,606.15 Naira traded on Friday last week. This means that the Naira gained 5 Naira and 71 kobo against the dollar on Monday when compared to 1,606 Naira and 15 kobo exchanged last week. Meanwhile, at the black market, the Naira remained flat at 1,630 per dollar on Monday, the same rate recorded at the end of work on Friday. Recall that in the past days, the Naira recorded more depreciation than gains. On April 30th, 2025, the Naira gained 3 Naira and 2 kobo against the dollar to close at 1,596 Naira and 68 kobo. Moving on to the foreign scene, Britain's unemployment rate has reached the highest level since August 2021. Official data showed on Tuesday, with businesses facing a UK tax hike and US tariffs. The rate climbed to 4.5% in the first quarter, and the Office for National Statistics said in a statement. That compared with 4.4% for the 3 months to the end of February, the ONS added. Tuesday's data covers the period before April's introduction of a hike to a business tax laid out in the Labour government's maiden budget in October. It also precedes a baseline 10% tariff imposed on the UK and other countries by the United States President Donald Trump last month. Analysts said the data would likely see the Bank of England cut its key interest rate a further 2 times this year, having reduced borrowing costs twice already in 2025. And with this, we've come to the end of news updates on Trust TV. Make sure you follow us on all our media platforms and watch our YouTube live stream for more news. I'm Hawa Ademikiawa. Thank you for watching.